Okay.
I've tried to get our club to do it, and they never did it.
The streaming? Oh, that was a group coming back.
All right, welcome back, everyone. We'll give this about, give this one about 3 minutes. If we can report out, what are some of your events that didn't go well and why didn't they go well? Let's hear the stories so we can all learn from them. Who wants to go first?
I can do it again.
Thank you, Larry. A for the day.
I mean, somebody wants to do it. Dublin Rotary had a Blarney Bash over the years, and I've actually been to it. They thought the biggest issue was weather. It was always done in March, of course, around St. Patty's Day, not a tent. Then it got so crowded. I think, frankly, they just couldn't. It just got overwhelming after a while. The city actually shut it down on them. Maui had an annual dinner. The cost got it so expensive, the members didn't feel they were getting the bang for their buck, so they quit coming. Greg and Jacksonville Club, their biggest, a couple of functions they tried, didn't have member buy-in, and those seemed to be one-off. We did get one positive. There was a gentleman from the village who said they had a chili cook-off and had a lot of vendors and sponsors come, and they made $80,000 to $100,000, and people came to them. He said they seemed to have success when people came to them, whatever the product was, to get people to come. The Westerville Club, the gentleman just spoke, that sounded like a similar fact. But they had a lot of sponsors and vendors. So, was ours.
Great. Thank you. And Don, to you next, Don. I saw you raise your hand.
That was an accident. I'm sorry.
Oh. What about the other Don? Don Trombley? Did you raise your hand? Yes, you're still on mute.
There we go. I made a comment that the villages, I belong to the Hilliard Club, but the villages in Florida where I was at before, I, for one, hate to have an event where I have to keep digging into my pocket and the membership gets tired of that. Keep digging into your pocket to fund it and make money. And the villages used to make $80,000 to $100,000 on a chili cook-off, and the people came to them. And they had 15 or 20 different chili stations, and they would get a prize for the winning chili. But people came to them, and they had vendors that sold goods, and they got the money from that. They got a percentage of that. But my point was, maybe some of the things don't go well because people get sick and tired of having to open up their checkbook to fund their own fundraisers. And I think if you can get an idea and work it where you don't have to do that, people will probably spend more time working on it. That's all
Don, that's absolutely right. I think one of the big things about event planning is that we usually overestimate how many people we think are going to attend, and we underestimate how many volunteers we need. And the second thing is, I think we overestimate how much members are going to buy into it. Not all of our membership feels like paying their way to go to something if they're not interested in it. And if we continue to use our own Rotarians to fund our own Rotary projects, we're not getting any new revenue. That would, if you're a supermarket selling food only to employees, tough model to sustain yourself. I hope you're selling a lot of milk and eggs because you still need those outside customers.
Well, get the high school kid and to help you out. And the Boy Scouts, they work out in a lot of places to help you raise money, and they get badges for that. So they get credit for it, working, helping you out.
Good point. And that goes right to our idea of bringing people together that have similar causes to make us all share our resources and come for a better outcome. So perfect. Thank you, Don. Our next speaker is going to talk about the great debate. and I believe he's on the line. Gary, are you there?
Greg, and yes, hello, how are you?
Greg, yes.
Yeah, no worries.
Greg, the great debate is yours. 9 minutes. Take it away.
Great, thank you. I'm going to talk briefly about the event, and then I'm going to try and share some ideas that I pound my club with ideas. And fortunately, they let me hang out with them. I'm usually 1 out of 30 on a good one, but that one usually hits. So the great debate's been around for a long time. I'm sure you've all heard about it if you've been in Rotary. We used to have about 200 people come. We would raise about $15,000. And the last one, we had 550 people. We maxed out and we raised $60,000. So I kind of want to talk about, I'm going to briefly talk about how we were able to do that over a 5-year, 6-year, 7-year period. So we can share that and then some other ideas to deal with and what we're doing in COVID. So the great debate is a roast of the Ohio State-Michigan rivalry. And we have comedians come from the Funny Bone. Dino, who used to be with Sunny 95's our MC. We have some sportscasters who are refs. We have 4-4 Ohio State, Michigan, and we roast back and forth with a scoreboard where Ohio State wins. And it's about a 45-minute stand-up show at lunchtime. Originally, people still came in suits, ate lunch, went back to work, and and we have an open. Tap the beer at 11 o'clock. We have lunch, and I can't drink one beer, so I ended up at a bar by myself. And I need friends. So we were able last year to get half of those people to come party afterwards. So now I have more friends. So the way we grew this event, and that's really what I want to get into, is about 5 things that we focused on. And these are suggestions that I hope help. The first thing is to get a long-term committee. The problem with Rotaries is that you get another person, they take over an event and they have no idea what they're getting. It's a learning curve every single year, and that's why we were struggling. I've done this now for 8 years, and in doing so, you get through your mistakes and you fine tune, and everyone on my committee has to commit for multiple years. So we basically can take this to the next level, and we run it simple. We have Giant Eagles, our sponsor. We have them committed and we have the relationship. So a big part of it was commitment from members. The second thing was partnering with other organizations that we give the money to. Guys, we're a club, and people don't want to give money to a club and then trust us to give it out if they don't know where it goes. So we incorporate the silent auction component is run by an organization. We collect books for the food pantry. We feature about 5 different fundraising groups at that event so that people see where their money is going. And they help to get the word out. We work on this event 6 months to 7 months a year. If you plan, instead of getting it last minute, jumping in and trying to throw it all together, your club stresses, you focus on money, and you're ramming it through. If you can hit the little pieces and meet as you go, it becomes much more relaxed, much more fun, and then you can deal with the details. And the biggest thing to do is to focus on a great product. Okay, we focus, because we're business people, on making money and making more money than last year. That's not what we're about. We're about expanding the word of Rotary. We're about being fun. We're about recruiting and partnering. So if you focus on a great product that will be fun for people, the money should be secondary. The money happens in a higher level. I hope that helps. So now we hit this wonderful time where I don't know when we're going to have another great debate, and certainly with 550 people in the room. So I want to share some things that our club is doing, and they're letting me try through this time. To raise money virtually, you can't raise money for a club. It's very difficult. So what we did, as soon as this whole thing went down, I put a fundraiser together, and our club reached out, and we raised $15,000 directly to the food pantry. We raised that in about 3-4 weeks. We donated all of it. We got an article in the paper. We got recognized, but it strengthened our position in the community. And it showed that if you focus on the recipient of the events that you're working on, it's so much easier, specifically now, to raise money, because you can tap on the heartstrings. than just a group of people who are going to take their money and donate it out. The second thing that we've done is what we've put together for the food pantry, or for the Great Debate, is we partner with Giant Eagle and we are doing tailgate packages. So if the day of the game, if you do a tailgate package, which they are doing, which by the way I did, and it's very fun and it's a very nice spread, they will from any one of the Giant Eagle catering marketplaces, they will donate to us. We are positioning that money to go towards a portion towards the food pantry. We already had money planned to go there for our grant. So again, we can't just for ourselves, we're focused on them. The second thing we did, and we will do a silent auction and some other things. The second thing that I'm very proud of is we ran a virtual marathon. It's the first. I don't know if you all got word on this. This was the medal. The cool thing about our virtual marathon is you could run 26 or walk 26.2 miles over the course of an entire month and say you did a marathon. You got on the back of my car is a 26.2 virtual miles in a month. And we were able to get 115 people to do that. We raised $8,000 on a first time event. We have partnered with the city. We're going to do it every May. It's going to be a signature event for the city, and we're going to take it next level. So to finish off, when you do fundraising, you don't want to think about just raising those funds at that moment. But if you think 5-year plan and you can get an event started that's fun and enjoyable and a committee that will commit to it, you can build it. So yes, we got 115 people to do this, but the idea is that the city is now going to feature us in June at an event with a finish line, and we're going to take it to a remembrance of COVID every year and try and create something like the Irish Fest or the Chili Open. Whether it has something big. And then lastly, if you tie your donations to your causes and let people know that's part of it. For instance, everybody who did the virtual marathon was able to donate $10 specific to one of those causes. That tied the causes, our partners, into sending the word out. So going back to what Rick said earlier about social media only works if people like and spread what you say. But if you tie them in, our food pantry, our Families for a Cure, Sun Ministries, and the city of Hilliard, I can tell you that we got a bigger spread than trying to put it on Facebook and hope people liked it. Lastly, the real key to the whole thing is to remember, especially right now, this fundraising isn't about raising money. It is about connecting your club together and recruiting and letting your partners know that you're there and you're going to be the club that's going to come out of this thing stronger than any other club in your community. So if you focus on that and try to enjoy what you're doing, it will take the stress off the money, and actually you'll be surprised at how much you'll accidentally make. So that's what we do. And believe it or not, they still put up with me. So hope that helps.
Can I talk?
Yes.
You make a real good point there, because I was lecture in marketing that when you're selling something, your goal is not to make money. Your goal is to satisfy your customers' needs and wants and make money in the process. And I jokingly say, if your goal is purely to make money, then you ought to sell drugs. But that's not really your goal. That's also illegal. But your goal is to really satisfy your customers and do it better than anybody else, and that's how you make money. So if you're purely money driven, you usually end up in a hole somewhere, because you start abusing people and stealing and charging ridiculous monopoly rates and whatnot. So you make a really good point there. Thank you.
It enables you to reinvest into the fundraiser, and we're business people, so our goal is not. We partner so they get a percentage of all of our funds. We're going to donate it anyways. It's all irrelevant, and they're working with us and for us. So it helps us to grow without having to do all of the work. And it is successful. But as business people, your goal is to make more money. I'm VP of sales, make more money, grow every year. And we get so caught up in that we forget that what difference does it make if we make 55 instead of 60 this year and we had a great time, or if we make 10 instead of 8 or 10 instead of 12, whatever the number is, if we still accomplish, don't lose money and have fun, that's really what it's about.
We're going to continue with the general question and answer session right now. Anyone can pose questions and anyone can also answer. What questions do we have at this time?
Hi, Rick. This is
Okay,
Ingrid.
I'll start with Ingrid, go on.
Yeah, no, I was just going to ask a quick question. Susan West and I had an opportunity to use hand bid as an option for us on the last fundraiser. And Susan did a great job sharing with all the members how to use that tool, that software tool for a silent auction. We're also using it now to raise money for funds for our holiday party, since we're not passing a hat at a holiday dinner. But I was wondering, does Rotary have any other software tools or things like that that we have corporate agreements with, or other fundraising tools?
I'll pass that one to Steve. Steve, are we in a partnership, Rotary International District, with any GoFundMe's or other software-based programs to assist with fundraising?
I don't know. We have one person from RI on, Harris Sofradzija, but I don't know. His area of expertise is membership. So I don't know if Harris knows of any.
I can briefly chime in, Steve, certainly. And it appears your district doesn't have any relationship. Generally, Rotary International doesn't either. We don't sign those types of contracts, nor do we endorse specific software. Oftentimes, we create our own in-house. For example, a number of you may have already heard about the new Rise for Rotary tool that can be attached to your social media to fundraise for the Rotary Foundation specifically. So you couldn't use it to fundraise for your own club or its activities or its foundation. But if you're looking to fundraise for the Rotary Foundation, there is a tool you can now put on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram to raise, for any sort of event, a birthday coming up, you've got an anniversary, some sort of celebration, your club is 100 years old and you want to celebrate it on your social media by saying donate to the Rotary Foundation. But otherwise, Rotary doesn't have any sort of agreements like that.
Harris, where would you get that package?
Raise for Rotary. It's on the Rotary website. Let me do a quick search right now and then put the URL in the chat box for everybody. Give me a quick
Thank
sec.
you, Harris. And I'll mention one thing quick before we go to Greg. One of the discussions that we have in our Rotary is whether or not it's more useful to get the $100 check or a $100 online donation that has 5% processing fees. And I always push for the 5% processing fees because it's a lot easier to get $95 on someone's credit card than it is to receive a check in the mail for $100 or go to their place of work and find it. So processing fees sometimes aren't necessarily a bad thing. Let's go to Greg. Greg had a comment or question.
Yeah, we work with a company that's local called localllevelevents.com. If you want to run an event that's very simple, I'd be happy to help you. Again, localllevelevents.com. They charge 3%. I've run all of our fundraisers off of it. Again, and I agree with Rick. We raised $15,000. They kept 3%, but they helped me customize the website. I can go in and tweak it and edit it. If you look up Great Debate, so if you go there and you look up Great Debate, you'll see that I put a site together for the Giant Eagle event that we're doing right now for the home with all the information. And then you have a spreadsheet. So for 3%, you now have a spreadsheet every year to be able to fall back on of people who did pay and sign. So then you have a better track record and a much easier way of collecting money because now your treasurer only gets one check.
We have time for one or two more questions, and then I'm going to close out with a comment. Someone else have a question? Harris, thank you for putting that in the chat.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, it seems like all of these, the one one of the common denominators of all of these projects is that they aren't necessarily extremely successful the first year or possibly even the second year. But it's it seems to be, as Greg said, the long-term nature of these projects, the fact that the club keeps working to make them better year after year, and also finding great partners with whom to either share the, to whom you're going to donate money or to help you sponsor the project. I mean, those are two common elements to a lot of, to these really good projects. So I think that has to say to the rest of us that we can't just look, if it's not so extremely successful that first year, we need to move on to another project. I think we need to keep working to if you have what you think is a good idea, keep focused on it and just keep making it better, changing it, and, moving in the direction that will eventually make it successful.
We have time for one more question.
Local level events.
Anyone else have a question? All right, I will.
Rick, I would like to ask Greg about, I went into local level events and you said to put something in so we could see your great debate information.
You can search a great debate and it will show this event. But I mean, just to give you an idea, I was able to do the virtual marathon to the point that everybody was able to put in their shirt size, their personal information, where they wanted to donate money, which, by the way, next year when we do it, you'll be able to sign up and $10 will go to your club. So it becomes a fundraiser for the whole district. Quick commercial, I'll pay $1 to my club. So you can customize it as far as you can think within reason. And I ran basically, so typically when you run a marathon, you have to pay. We were running a real marathon and we paid thousands of dollars for a group to come. It cost me 3% and completely virtual.
I will close out with these two things. First, probably at my own peril here, I've left my email address in the chat. I am more than happy to share ideas with you and your club and have you ask me questions. I am by no means an expert, but it says I've done events on my resume, so I at least have to act like I know what I'm talking about. And the last piece of advice I'll give you is something that I preach to every event planner. Consider weather insurance. Weather insurance is something that you can call an insurance company, purchase weather insurance, and hope that it rains. Because if it rains a minimum amount within the specified hours, you get paid out your premium. And I've hit that big one time, and from here on out, I buy weather insurance for everything. Really what weather insurance does is it helps you protect loss of ticket sales. So if you have an outdoor event and you're basing the success of the event on ticket sales, and if it rains, ticket sales don't happen. And so the event insurance will cover your loss plus some. The trick is it's a risk, right? It's like your car insurance. You don't really need it until you need it. And you still have to pay for it every month. So consider event insurance. And hopefully all you have to do is hit it one time and it pays for itself 10 times over.
Hey, Rick, I just wanted to add, we do a random prize winner for all of our master classes, and our winner this time is Ingrid Fields. So I will be sending you a prize, Ingrid.
Thank you. That's great.
I never win.
All right, everyone. I want to thank you for joining us for this master class. Continue to monitor your emails and anything that comes from Rotary District for more of these classes. We have them monthly. And so we have, what's our next one? Is it December or are we going right to January, Dana?
It is December, and we're doing best practices of onboarding and orientations.
So there's that new member engagement piece that will help generate that membership revenue. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Please stay safe and stay healthy.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you.